The Bank of Pennsylvania story has all the drama, desperation, and sheer grit of a Hollywood heist. Only instead of gold bars or secret blueprints, they're after something way less glamorous. Cold, hard, revolutionary war cash. In June 1780, the Continental Army was struggling big time. They were like the rock band that's huge on talent but out of cash, and about 2 missed meals away from calling it quits. Supplies were running dry, troops were deserting, and the British were looking stronger by the day. Enter Robert Morris, the financial wizard of the Revolution, who decides he's not going down without a fight or a good financial scheme. Picture this. It's the summer of 1780, and George Washington's Continental Army is camped out, hungry and freezing, with nothing but rags to wear and pennies to share. They've been fighting the British for years now, and it's not getting any easier. Washington's letters to Congress are starting to sound like that friend who's always borrowing gas money. A mix of "I hate to ask" and "we might die if you don't help." So Washington's desperation starts to filter through the political grapevine. Congress? They're basically as broke as the soldiers they're supposed to be supporting. Revolutionary idealism was nice and all, but if they didn't get their hands on some hard cash soon, they'd be idealists under British rule again. Here comes Robert Morris, the founding father with a knack for numbers. Morris was the guy you'd go to if you had a financial mess and zero ideas. He was like the revolutionary Dave Ramsey, but with a lot more at stake. Seeing the desperate state of the army, Morris got to thinking, if Congress didn't have money, maybe the people who actually had money could be convinced to save the day. So Morris, along with some well-to-do Philadelphians, came up with an idea that was absolutely revolutionary. And no, not in the usual sense. They'd create a Bank of Pennsylvania to be exact, which would pool money from private investors to fund the army's needs. And get this, they were going to use it specifically to buy supplies like food, clothing, and ammo, because nothing says "we mean business" like properly outfitted troops who aren't starving. Now, you might think convincing people to part with their hard-earned cash for a rebellion was a hard sell, and you'd be right. But Morris had a way with words. He wasn't about to go begging. No, he was painting this as the investment of a lifetime. He framed it as a patriotic duty with a solid financial reward. Investors were told they'd get promissory notes backed by the state's faith. Now, whether or not people actually believed in these promissory notes was another question. But with Morris's charm, it was like buying a VIP ticket to the Kick the British Out party. If America won, these investors would go down in history as the heroes who put their wallets on the line for freedom. Thanks to Morris's incredible persuasion tactics, the Bank of Pennsylvania was officially formed in June 1780. The founding capital? Around $300,000. Not exactly billionaire money. But hey, it was enough to make sure Washington's troops could eat without scrounging for scraps. Think of it as revolutionary Venmo. People were pledging money, pooling resources, and all for the greater good of seeing America win. As the money came in, they started spending it wisely, or at least as wisely as you can when you've got an entire army to fund. It went straight into food, shoes, uniforms, tents, and gunpowder. You can almost hear the Continental Army breathing a sigh of relief. Now, when the soldiers showed up for battle, they actually looked the part. Not like a bunch of ragtag dreamers clinging to a threadbare cause. What's the lesson here? Thanks to the Bank of Pennsylvania, Washington's army was able to stick it out through some of the darkest days of the war. Soldiers who were contemplating desertion or worse suddenly had the means to keep going. And Morris? He ended up a hero, a financial genius who saw that patriotism could actually turn a profit, even if that profit was measured in musket balls and military jackets. In the end, the Bank of Pennsylvania became one of the unsung heroes of the American Revolution. It didn't have the dramatic appeal of a battlefield victory or the romanticism of a midnight ride. But without it, the story of American independence might have been very different. And all because a few rich guys in Philly got together and thought, you know, we could bankroll this thing. So the next time you hear about funding a revolution, remember, it's not all glory and speeches. Sometimes it's a group of money-savvy patriots and a crazy idea that end up making history. And that, folks, is the story of how a bunch of rich Philadelphians bankrolled the dream of a free America, proving that every war, even one for independence, needs a little financial backing.